Ta-da! Alright, I'm all set up. How's everybody doing tonight? What's going on? What do you know? How's your life? I did have a spot. There we go. So we are working on taking this Hatband and adding it to this jelly cube. Why? Because this Hatband was too heavy for my hat to wear. It was very uncomfortable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a leather band and use a chainmail stamp, right? Put the leather band on the hat, a couple other decorations, make it a tricorn, and this is just going to become another jelly cube in a long list of items that have been dismantled to become a jelly cube. So I'm not working on the saddlebag covers tonight because I'm at the point where I need to start lacing them up. I might, depending on how much time I have tomorrow and all the things I have to do, I might go I might set my tripod up so that people can watch as I drill holes in my saddlebags and start lacing it all together. But we'll see. Alright, that's one side I'm working on. Here's some missing rings over here. So that, if you're wondering why I'm not working on the saddlebags, that's why. Is I want to get them laced up and then make sure that they're fitted correctly, and that's going to be probably something I need to focus on as opposed to streaming and paying attention, to viewers and stuff. But we'll see how it goes. We'll probably get it started, and if we happen to have a good stream, then great, and if not, I'm at the point where I can start lacing the saddlebags, the chainmail to the saddlebags, rather. So I'm pretty happy about being there. And then I've got, what have I got? Another, I can't do the gas tank bib yet. That's coming. I've got to go to Tandy, which is 40 minutes away, and buy some leather and do all of the leather work before any chainmail can be attached to it for the gas tank bib. And then I've got the toolkit down here too. So it's all, it's all coming together one piece at a time. Excuse me. I walked my dog and it's cold outside, and I took my inhaler, but still, it's killing me. That cold air just, it's not even that cold yet. It's supposed to get down in the single digits next weekend. So, alright, now I have a big enough space I think I can undo this loop. So for anyone who wants to see what I'm making, let me give you a better example. This is a jelly cube made with the perfect ring size, right? It's a couple thousand rings connected together, and it's very fun to play with. That's what I'm doing here with a not perfect ring size, but I tried to make a hatband out of it and it didn't work, and so I'm just making them into something that is a finished product and moving on. So I think I might do a little work on the hat next week too. That'll be fun. I don't know how I wove these rings into 4-in-1. This is nuts trying to get these apart. I wonder if I need different pliers. I don't want to mar up the rings too bad using pliers with teeth on them, but also I don't want to spend all night fighting rings, you know what I mean? Because if that's what I'm going to be doing, then this whole piece might get thrown away. Come on. Oh, goodness. There you go. That totally tortured the ring. I wonder if it's even going to hold its shape. That's okay. All right. So my name's Sean. I run MailerWorks.com, where I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. And right now, the big item people are picking up is a giant chainmail themed snug hoodie. And I make chainmail. I've been doing it for about 27 years. I'm pretty okay at it. Recently, I've decided that I need to up my game. And so we're going to be a fully functional chainmail shop down here in the basement for anything and everything I want to make. I need to get this apart so that this becomes easier, because this is absurd. I might just cut this open. So right now I can work with butted rings, and I've got a welder to weld rings with. And I'm working on getting an anodizer and a riveting setup so that I can make riveted pieces, anodized pieces, welded chainmail, and so that's my goal for the next year, is to have all that set up by the end of the year. So that is what I'm working on. I've had a lot of fun doing this over the years. I made a lot of fun projects, and right now, because some ring manufacturers changed up the way they changed up the way they made their rings a lot, I can't get the same ring size anymore. It's always a little bit off. Smelting metal, drawing wire too? No. I am not going to go and mine my own ore, smelt it down into a usable form, and then it's like, it's not real chainmail if you didn't dig it from the earth. Yeah. No, we'll see. I don't want to smelt anything. But having a whole outside setup for work too, in my little area in my shed, that's another part of the process, but that's not a priority this year. If I get it done, great. Lodestone fishing it from the bogs by urchins. All right. Okay. Nope, it's not real chainmail if you didn't mine it from the ground, smelt it down, hammer it into shape, draw it out, make all your own rings, and then rivet them all. That is 100% correct. That's the only way to make real chainmail. Or so I've been told by internet experts. But this is like 18 gauge, 5/32 square wire stainless steel. And somehow I made this 4-in-1 Hatband with it that I'm taking apart right now. It is nearly impossible to get these things apart. Man, my hands will be done after 10 minutes. Yeah, it starts out that way. How you doing, Civil Savage? It definitely starts out that way. The trick is, once you got to get through that initial phase of muscle development, strengthening, and, you know, eradicating any carpal tunnel syndrome that you develop. And once you get through that, it's really not that bad. And then a lot of it also depends on what material you're using. This is all stainless steel that I'm working with right here, and so it can be pretty hard on the hands. You're doing good. That's good to hear. Now you can work with silver all day long. It's not really going to bother you unless you're working with a really heavy gauge silver. But Wootz crucible steel, hammered to plates, cut into thin strips, drawn into wire, coiled, cut, overlapped, flattened, punched, then riveted, and may have left a few functioning steps out of this, and why a town was needed to make a shirt from ore to war. That's funny. All the steps and what it takes to make a finished chainmail shirt. And if you don't do that, it's not real chainmail. Alright. Okay. So alright, there's an update video on where I'm at with the saddlebags for anyone watching who hasn't seen it yet. I'm at the point where I have to start lacing the covers to the saddlebags, which is going to require some drilling, and I might do that. I might set up my tripod and do that on a stream tomorrow on camera. But that's going to be like, you get to watch as it comes alive. I probably won't be talking much because it's going to take a lot of concentration. You do some blacksmithing but haven't done small metal work yet? Yeah, right on. I started this because I wanted to grow up to be a blacksmith. When I was a young lad reading Redwall and Salamandastron. But I never quite got to the blacksmithing part. I discovered you could make chainmail, and I've been doing that for the last 27 years or so. And like I was telling, like, I'm on multiple platforms right now. Facebook, Twitch, Facebook, Twitch, X, and YouTube. And I've got other commenters. So as I was telling John earlier, the forge setup and anvil and all of that fun stuff might be gotten to this year, but there's a few things I want to do down here in the basement. I want to get set up so that I have a production shop where I can make anything I want from chainmail. So we'll get there, you know, one thing at a time. Started putting together my riveting setup. Just reminded your wife of the copy of Redwall on the nightstand you bought her to read. Love the story. You have spent many years in mail, but now have a forge and may be drifting more towards plates than rings this year. Right on. There's I've got a bunch of that series of books. There's a lot of like recycling of the material as time goes on with Brian Jakes, the author. All right, Civil Savage, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. And so he wrote the books for blind children, and that's what all the food descriptions are for, which I love. I think it's great. I thought some of the food sounded amazing. when I was growing up. But I have like 10 of the books, and after that I was like, okay, I've read enough. And also that I'm a little aged out. Alright, where is my marker rings? There's one. Okay, so I'm still working over here. Alright. I've got a copy of Redwall, and then my stepdad got me a copy of the... What do you call them? They're not comic books. They're illustrated graphic novel. The Redwall graphic novel somewhere. So... And he got me that a couple years ago, and I was like, that's totally cool. There's also a video game. I have it on my phone for Redwall. I've never sat down to play it, but I saw it and I was like, ooh, gotta have that. And then, of course, me and video games don't get along well. So... once I start playing, I don't stop, so I try to avoid playing so that I can focus on getting work done. Because otherwise, I will just play video games and nothing will ever get done, and I will be irritated with myself. That's really the only consequence. None of this has to get done. I'm doing this to myself, right? I really should have just cut through these rings to open up this loop. This is absurd. Well, that one came out okay. You manage a bracelet once? Takes so much time. It does. There's I don't know. I don't really think about it anymore. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Did not know about the graphic novel. Just ordered one for the kiddos. Right on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think about the time it takes anymore, just because, like, you know, open a ring, close a ring, and just keep going, and projects eventually get done. And this is what I want to do. This isn't, like, outside of taking care of family and stuff, I don't really want to be doing anything else. Yeah, I think this bracelet right here, I think that took me probably 25 to 30 hours. Small rings can be very tedious. Super satisfying. Yeah, that's one of the things about chainmail too, is like, it's tactile, it's, you know, stimulates the senses. It's fun. And once I learned you could make it, I was like, oh, all right. Well, that'll be my personality for the rest of my life. Which is 100% what happened. Come on. Oh, so close. Stop being troublesome. Like grinding video games, playing cards, just part of the motions to the task. Yep. It's like I don't remember how many hours I put into Zelda over the summer, but it was an unhealthy amount. You know, if I'm being honest. All right. Come on. So there's a leather cord traveling through one side, this side of this band that secured it to the hat. So that's gonna probably get in the way if I had to hazard a guess. Alright. Okay, the loop has been opened up. This should be smoother sailing going forward. And for anyone wondering why I'm taking this apart, it was a hat band. It is very heavy. Actually, I should weigh it right now. Oh, I have a book up here I need to put away. This was an additional weight on top of my head while wearing the hat. And I don't know why I bought this hat in the first place, right? There's nothing wrong with it, but it's like not my style of hat at all. Alright. This is almost half a pound. I'm sure it's a full half pound, right? Added to the hat, and that got, you know, pretty weighty. What is 7.5 fluid ounces converted to pounds? That's half a pound, right? Fluid ounces are, wait, no, 16 ounces to the pound. Is that right? 16 ounces to the pound. 7.5 would be almost half a pound. Feels like it weighs more. But it's probably just because it's really dense. Let's see if I can remove this. No? Alright. Yeah, 16 ounces in a pound. So it's an additional half pound on top of your head, and it was just uncomfortable. So I'm going to replace it with a piece of leather that's stamped with a chainmail stamp that I've got from Ukraine. The kitchen scale, no, it does other. I probably should have just changed units to pounds, right? Can of soda is close to a pound for comparison when thinking of the weight. Yeah, it's probably about as dense. No, there are more units on that kitchen scale. I just didn't even think to click through it just because I'm used to converting stuff in my head. Because that is what a big part of my job was for a very long time. So anyway, got a leather chainmail stamp that I will make myself a new band with, and then I've got some pins coming in, some skull and crossbones pins, and then I'll make it a tricorn, and then I'll add, like, I don't know, other random, just randomness to make it like a cool hat than what it started out as. Suppose I could show you the hat in question. That'd be reasonable, right? I'm sure some have seen it, but this is what I had going on. For anyone, right? And it's, you know, it's hefty, and that band is just making it worse, so. We're gonna fix that. And make a jelly cube at the same time, because why not? It's like I am out of 1 pound 6 ounces. That's awesome. I don't know what mine weighs. Mine's aluminum. So, I don't want to get the kitchen scale back out, but this is probably somewhere around half a pound if I had to hazard a guess. But yeah, I don't want to wear it on my head, so. And that, okay, so here's my problem. When I go shopping at the Renaissance Festival, I go and I look for projects, right? It's like, oh, what can I add chainmail to? So I wanted a tricorn hat because I want to be a pirate when I grow up. So I thought, oh, I'll get this one, and then I'll make it into a tricorn, and I'll make a chainmail band for it, and it'll be really cool. But then I put the band on, and I never did anything else with it just because it was uncomfortable, right? So now I'm going to spend some time decking this out. I've got some, like I said, I've got some pins coming for it. I don't know what all we'll get into, but do I know of any templates for chainmail shirts? You're halfway through one, but the template is wrong. Templates for chainmail shirts. The only place I can think of that you could look is the large chainmail group on Facebook has a files section. And yours going to 3x3x3. Okay, yours is going to a 3x3x3 inch or 11x11 cube with 10x10 stainless with anodized aluminum around it. Okay, so you have a steel core. Is that what you're saying? Anytime, Paul. Yeah, check there. The other place that I would have sent you is gone because a certain company decided to delete where it would be. I won't name any names, but it's the same company making all the fuck-ups lately. I'll put it that way. So the file section is where I would look. Yeah, that's all I got. And then after that, you know, like Googling stuff, but shirts are, you know, fairly straightforward. Alright, so belt, bandolier, sash, beard chains, pistol holsters. What kind of shirt? 4-in-1 armpits or changing direction of the sleeves? Yeah, Paul, what kind of shirt are you making? If you're still hanging out. It's your standard European 4-in-1. You trying to go for historical accuracy? If you're going for historical accuracy, I wonder if there is an SCA resource for that. I don't know. I just bought a book on armor. You are going for historical accuracy? Okay. Male Artisans 4-in-1 has a section of notes on shirts with a few more links there. Yeah, okay, so John is telling me that there's a shirt section over on Male Artisans, which probably is more historically accurate than what you would find in the files section, if I had to hazard a guess. So, and he's got the link here, but I can't transcribe it over. What am I doing? Didn't I do a thing? I did a thing. Where'd it go? There it is. So I've never followed a shirt pattern, so I've never looked this particular subject up. And my results speak for themselves. They're very indicative that I did not follow any kind of pattern or forethought. I just had bad ideas. Full shirt, horseman or footman would be your first question, then time period and culture. Well, yeah, there's a... what would you call it? There's a whole host of details you could... You just looked it up? I hope that helps, man. A whole host of details that you could use to delineate what kind of historical accuracy you're looking for when making a chainmail shirt. And so I focused on getting something that I could put over my head and wear, and it looked like chainmail and was made of metal, and I was successful. Did I have good results? Yeah, I mean, they're okay. But I am planning on tearing them apart and rebuilding them, so if that says anything. Early Viking, flat riveted t-shirt style with round rivets and solid rings, to late English being fully watershed wedge riveted. Yeah, pick your time period. Someone was in here the other night and recommended a book, and there's only one left on Amazon, and I was buying a bunch of other stuff that I didn't need, so I was like, alright, let me spend some more money that I don't have. And I picked up this book. I didn't even, I saw one left, and my shopper's, gut reaction kicked in and went, you gotta get it now. I didn't look to see if this reference book that this guy was talking about on TikTok was even, legitimate. So anyway, we'll see what happens, and I think there'll be some interesting information in there. It's only $40. It's not the worst $40 I've ever spent. All right. There's a lot of places to find resources, and I organized them as best I could on the Mailworks app, but I'm not in control of any of the places where you would find resources. So they're just kind of all over the place. Which sucks, but it is what it is. Sounds like this one time in band camp, I thuck a tuba. The chainmail community is diverse, decentralized, and widespread, and it's growing. And the whole art form is getting bigger, better, badder, more awesome, producing higher quality stuff every day. And that means that some places, some resources get left behind, and some resources get destroyed, and $40 is $40. You say you do anything for $40? You gonna wash my car? So some of the resources that were available are gone, and some of the resources are unmanaged, and, I wish that I could have a hand in all of it, but many of these are properties that were established long before I came into the community, so it was $20, but inflation, yeah. There is another book I want to get. It's one of those things that I have this idea of it in my head of what it is. It's like the magical divine secrets of chainmail in a book. And so I'm just like, oh, I got to get that book, right? Because I need to know the divine secrets of chainmail. Let me have it, you know. And it's expensive, and it's like $180 or something. But I'm gonna get it, right? And so the reality is that it's just like the documentation process of different types of chainmail over time, and then it's got a bunch of information in it. Do I need to know that to do what I'm doing? No. I don't need to go buy a $180 book for that, but I just want to have it, you know? So that, like, I've already got it in my mind that I need a book that I don't actually need, and then this other book comes up, and I was like, oh, let me grab that one too. So, I don't know, who wants to read a book on chainmail besides me? I mean, I know a few people. Wandering away for a bit, enjoy if I don't catch folks before you wander back. Power tools and metal cutting time. Right on. All right, John, thanks for swinging by. Hey, it's my buddy John. Actually, I need to order something from you. You want to read a book on chainmail? Right on. Do you want to make some chainmail? So, there is, we discussed it last night. There are, there are books on chainmail for anyone interested, right? This one is by Karen, and she does tremendous work if you're interested in learning about chainmail, right? But I have this book, and again, I've never read it, right? I bought it as a resource, and actually, I don't even know if I bought this. This might have been bought for me. I don't remember. But I have it, and it's nice to look at the pictures and stuff and get ideas. And I would be benefiting myself if I took the time to go through and make some of those projects that are in there. So, but it's a book about chainmail, so I want to have it. She does. She has a couple of books out, and then instructions and tutorials and all kinds of fun stuff. She is an amazing artist. Much cooler than me. Especially some of her stuff lately. She's like, oh my gosh. So, I want to be that good one day. Oh, here I am. Here I go again on my own to find where this ring goes. So, and, you know, even if I never read the books and never use anything on it, right? Or never use any information in it, it's part of, like, my whole basement aesthetic is all chainmail themed. You know? So I've got chainmail themed printed blankets. I've got a window ledge chock full of chainmail. You know, so books about chainmail just kind of make sense down here. She is freaking good. People should go follow her on Facebook. Karen. She got 2 first names. Where am I at here? Okay. One thing, okay, so yes, I would like to collect more books about chainmail. I think we established that. But another thing that I want to continue to do is collect other artists' work. Right? There's enough of my stuff down here, and I'm going to keep filling it up with stuff that I make, but also chainmail is one of those things where everybody does things differently, and even when two people make, it is a stainless jelly cube. Yeah. Square wire stainless jelly cube. It's kind of coming along. It's not quite the perfect ring size, but it's close. Yeah, I want to fill up my basement with more work from other people. Just because, like, when two people make the same thing, it always comes out a little bit different. And so, and then when you get other people's artwork, right? Like, I've bought bracelets off of other people before. It was nothing I would have ever considered making, you know? But it was too cool to pass up. Yeah, it's square wire. I bought a lot of it long time ago. And this music's too loud for me to think. There. And this, I think it's 18 gauge 5/32 in square wire, stainless from the Ring Lord. I think that it is, it's too tight really for this 4-in-1 that I made. There's no, like, you know, 4-in-1 usually collapses in on itself, and this is solid. So, do I think I'll be able to sneak in an extra ring around the outside shell to make it a bit more rigid? This? Yes. Yep, that's how I had it just a little while ago. And I took it apart to add all these other rings over here. So, you want to do the same? You love so many other people's work? You need them all. Yes, exactly. It's just, the reality is that I can only make so much chainmail, and my chainmail is only going to be as good as what I can make and what I can think up, right? And so when I see what other people have done, it's like I want to appreciate their work for what it is, and, you know, not try to copy what they're doing necessarily, not try to make the same thing as what they're making. A lot of times I would like Amanda's dragons, right? I don't want to make a dragon of my own, but I will gladly buy one of hers. Yeah. Mother of Dragons is Amanda. How the heck do you square wire in general? You're so unsure of it because no AR availability. I bought a bunch of it, and then I just started making stuff. And some of it worked, and most of it did not, is basically what happened. So, do these sides all line up? No? Yes? What's going on here? Julie, thank you for the share. Yeah, her dragons are stupid cool. So, I will buy one day. Then my friend Barb, she makes ducks. Not Barb. I don't remember what her first name is. She's usually here hanging out. Anyway, my other friend makes duck sculptures, right? They're really cool. I want to buy one from her. You know, just people they specialize in their little niche, and it's like, Okay, yeah, I would like to learn all the little techniques and tips and tricks for everything that they're doing. Um, but also, like, it's cool to just own what they've made, and that way I can have one without having to make it, without having to learn how to make it, and I can focus on my projects. So, and I don't know how involved I'm going to get. I've talked about finishing up. You think jelly cubes are like black holes and they increase desire for larger the larger you make them? Is it Sue? I don't think it's Sue. Maybe it's Sue. Sue doesn't sound right. I'll know it the instant I see it, but I've talked about, being able to make any kind of ring I want, any ring size, and just getting my basement space filled out with all the stuff a chainmail artist could want, right? And then maybe getting a bunch of stock to make stuff to sell, right? And I don't know how involved I'm going to get in that, just because I spend so much time working on the art aspect of this, and like that's really what I want to focus on. So I don't think I'll ever do booths or anything. I'll probably always have some stuff for sale, but I've got plenty of work to do for the next year. Yeah, you made up your mind to only have art made from your friends' hands in your house? Yeah, there you go. We've got a lot of that here. I don't know too many people, period, so in real life to have seen their artwork. It's only online friends for me. But Renee's got a few artist friends, and she's got a few pieces from them. Look into art exhibits. I mean, maybe. I think my next ringception piece will be probably, it'll be really cool. I don't know if it'll be art exhibit worthy, but also, don't you want, like, what do you call it? Don't people buy the art on display? Or is it just, hey, here, come take a look at this artist's work. This is what this weird person does in their basement. Maybe one day. You have a friend you need to buy a quilt from and one you need to buy a knitted blanket from? Right on. The compilation of the collection may be worth showing off? Maybe. I don't know. It's one of those things where, unless you're standing there explaining it, people just be like, oh, what am I looking at? Or at least that's how I feel about a lot of the stuff I've done. And you can have a price for it and take offers for it, yeah. I don't know. Once I get to that point where I'm either like making stuff for sale or we're focusing on the art aspect of it, then we'll see about selling large pieces, taking commissions, things like that. stuff I've made so far is probably not going anywhere. Just, you know, every now and then we'll meet some new people and they'll come down to the basement and they'll see all my chainmail stuff and they'll go, oh, that explains a lot. Okay. Most people don't have a clue about chainmail and its possibilities. Yeah. That's who would get a $10,000 to $25,000 for a collection of odds and ends, and you would write a paper for it and such. Notation is on you, the artist, to decide if it speaks for itself or you want to add a book to it. You got to write a, like, source your artwork. You got to write a book for your artwork. What are you saying, John? All right, let's see here. Yeah, most people don't know anything about chainmail, which is one of the reasons why I love it. Like, almost no one else does it. I know a lot of chainmail people because I'm in the chainmail community, and we gravitate towards each other. The other day, apparently there's like half a dozen to 10 people near me in location that are just, you know, nearby. It's like, oh, wow. But yeah, no, most people don't have any clue, like, it hasn't really hit its mainstream stride yet. You know? If you did a painting based off someone else's style or removed you or the art expression of it to inflate the value of it, like folks build the value of mail from the metal to the ring quality of the hands that made it can influence the whole piece. I gotcha. 90% of every new chainmail person you find you have already followed most of the time. Who, me? Yeah, no, I've been around for a while. I don't know everyone, and I'm not, you know, God's gift to chainmail or anything, but like I said, I've been doing this for 27 years, and probably the last 10 to 15 years I've been doing it seriously. And so you just kind of gather up other people along the way. Oh, this is going to be ridiculous. I don't like having to take this apart. This is a pain in the butt. You try to befriend everyone, though, just like I try to do. I do try. You wanted mail, God gave you hangers, you made... Nice. Yeah. And it's like, you know, when you're in any craft, you want to know other people to do it, and learn their tips and tricks and whatnot, and all that fun stuff. So, all right. Just helpful to know people who are in it, and then, you know, I've had friends I've reached out to when I needed a very specific thing that I know they had, and it was like, yo, send me this, please. Because I didn't want to put in a large order. It's like I needed 6 rings of titanium, and I didn't want to go buy an ounce of titanium for these 6 rings, so it helps know people. And if I didn't know other chainmail artists, how would I fill up my basement with other people's chainmail art? So, your trick is a $900 milling machine now that cuts you clean rings. 2 years ago, folks loved to ring shame for clip cutting rings. It is what it is, yeah. plenty of people who make rings however they want, and like, I don't know, I have preferred saw cut rings for jewelry for a while, but machine cut or hand clipped or whatever, you know, you can make whatever out of them. That's one of the, it's one of the nice things. Like, it's like the not real chainmail crowd, right? The it's like, how would they know? I would like to see how much real chainmail they've attempted to make, you know, telling me that, oh, what I'm making is not real chainmail. You know, other chainmail artists don't get to dictate what you what kind of ring you make or use. And so every now and that brings me to another topic, right? Every now and then in the days of yore, someone would bring up building out a chainmail guild, right? To have some kind of status, right? And what made me think about this is I was watching a tattoo artist talk about a master tattooist. He's like, what the hell is a master tattooist? And then the term junior artist that he said was, I guess, cropping up in some tattoo shops. And so that reminded me that, yes, people have wanted to build out a guild for chainmail, and how all the, you know, you could make hierarchical steps. You know, like, in order to get to step 1, you have to make a shirt or something like that, right? And I was thinking about that, which reminded me of this concept of a maester's chain. Weave the ring, it is closed well. That is what should be argued. That should be the only point harped about to make quality mail. I don't disagree. But the whole concept of a maester's chain, from what I understand, is like they have links of each different type of metal that they've worked with to prove that they're proficient with it, right? With that metal. And that got me thinking about some jewelry concepts, if I was to make one of those. Anyway, I think the guild idea for chainmail is stupid. As is the term junior tattooist, junior tattoo person, right? So the like, I was just going over the concept. How did you make a maester's chain in chainmail, right? And I don't know if you really could. Right? Like, how could you guild out a hierarchy in chainmail? And that's another thing. I don't know if you could, because there's so many facets that you can focus on. That you can really just specialize in one area and become really good at that one thing. You don't have to... Like, you don't ever have to make a chainmail shirt to make chainmail, right? You can just make jewelry or whatever you want. I don't know. It's a silly concept. Who said, hey, Sean? Who is that? Hey, Barb, how you doing? Why is your comment not coming up over here? You have a chain you used to wear 20 years ago that has a collection of every stainless ring, size, and gauge you made, as you got new pieces to keep a visual sales tag of your rings versus a mountain of key fobs you had amassed. Interesting. Yeah, I know people that make like beginner portions of their a bunch of different types of chain. So when people come up asking for custom work, they can show them this, you know, small keychain sample. And then they'll just take that keychain and make it into the chain that they want, or that their customer wants. Oh, because you're watching on YouTube? You should still pop up in the comments section over here to my right. That's weird. I don't know, whatever. I will try to keep up with your comments. But they're very small and on the wrong side of the screen. And don't worry, it's not your fault. It's just software. All right. That brings me to my next thought, which is sandworm. Sandworm is a full Persian chain wrapped in box chain, right? It's really cool. There's a couple different worm chains out there. And that is what I want to try and make my next ringception piece with. As long as people are having fun, you don't believe it matters what someone else thinks of it? Not really, no. I had a fob of like 11 weaves I used to carry and a pocket of rings and finished the pieces in 20-30 minutes for folks while hanging out at places and events. Right on. It doesn't matter what someone else thinks of it because they didn't make it. And you can be proud of your accomplishments no matter what, right? But it's people like to power trip and you know, oh, you didn't do it this way, therefore you must not be, you know, you must not know. You must not be good. You must be bad. We must shame you into doing doing things the way we do them, so that you can be like us, so that you are no longer shameful. You know, and that, you know, that's everywhere on the internet, in every hobby. So. Be proud of your galvanized shirt. I am. No, my galvanized shirt sucks ass. It does. It was a poorly thought out project. But, you know, maybe it will become better. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So, not the Beetlejuice kind? Yeah. Oh, come on. Stupid thing. All right. Oh, I have an interesting problem. My tumbler is dirty, and it's tarnishing up my rings. I tumbled a bunch of stainless today, and the stainless is all gummy. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I gotta figure that out. Some didn't get cleaned out right. That's a whole other aspect to making chainmail, is learning how to tumble stuff properly. And remember to tumble your rings before you work with them. Most rings anyway. Not anodized stuff for very long, but most base metal stuff can be tumbled, no problem. Little Dawn dish soap and some hot water and shines right up, most of it. But yeah, I need to, my tumbler is making, wash a shot with, there's no shot, I haven't put the stainless shot that I got in there yet. So, it's just the stainless steel, and that's it. So, maybe if I just, I don't know. I don't want to ruin the shot. Maybe that's something I can do tomorrow, though. Where are we at here? Okay, did I finally get that correct? There. I've only been working on like one side of this so far. All right, we are square on one side and still rectangular on the other, but all right. Well, it's a Franklin Arsenal rotary tumbler, a fart, if you will. And so it's plastic. It's not rubber, and maybe that's what needs to be cleaned. So I don't know. Throw it in the dishwasher. That'd probably make it worse. Put some bleach in it. Throw it on the tumbler, let it roll around. Yeah, I don't know how to clean a tumbler barrel. I know that there's people who have discussed it before, but I was tumbling the stainless steel and it just came out gray and gummy. I was like, what in the world? Which is irritating. I don't use my tumbler half the time, right? But I've got a couple projects in there that I have the supplies to finish. I want to finish it up. And now they're all gray and gummy and gross. You don't want to be dumping the slurry from the tumbler in your house drains or it will build up a nasty clog. Oh. Oops. Did I get a message about the 11-inch bracelet I sell? No. I checked my messages earlier, and unless it was like just now. Come on. Let's see here. Hang on. Yeah, and I don't have any new message requests. So if you message me on TikTok, hang on. See if I can do this. Oh my gosh. Turn on the dark mode. Let's see here. 907. Okay, let's check that out. Let's see here. All right, there's that. Okay, I'm going to send you a message as soon as it loads. Okay, that's been sent, and I just sent you one. Run them 2 or 3 more times with less soap and see if the wash gunk off them. Yeah. I don't know what got in there. But you were saying to build up a nasty clog, really? Like you can't, I usually just run the sink for a little while afterwards. Like there's nothing solid in there or anything. And I wouldn't call it a slurry, I'd call it a tinted water. Your 20 gauge cherry weight stainless rings, to really get anything worth noting, takes about 24 hours tumbling, and it makes an ugly black foamy slurry. You then need to strainer it and rinse outside sink area you have. Once clean, you clean tumbler and then put the rings back in the water. Yeah. I don't drain it outside. It settles in the J-pipe. Interesting. Yeah. Yes, please resend it. Damon Chaney. Resend it. I apologize. I only got a couple message requests and I didn't get one from you. But you can pretty much message me on any app, anywhere, under the same username. I try to get to them all. I've thought about getting rid of some platforms that you can message me on, but alright. So, yeah. Dirty tumbler container. And I don't know why it's all gross and nasty, but I was really upset because I was waiting to finish some projects that I had in the works, and I finally got the supplies to finish them, and now they're dirty and gunky, and I got to retumble them. So it's fine. Throw some Pine Sol in there and clean it up. All right. It's definitely important to have a tumbler so that you can clean up your rings before you weave them, or tumble finished pieces to give them a nice polish. And I did buy some tumbling media to experiment with that I haven't gotten to yet, some ceramic and some stainless steel shot. And I know people that polish with walnut shell. They polish their anodized aluminum with walnut shell. And so that's a tumbling media I don't have. Last time I used walnut shell was as a substrate for my bearded dragon. Some people swear by it. And I don't really want to do anodized aluminum much anymore, so. Alright. Nine. Alright, and I have a, like I said, I have a Franklin Arsenal rotary tumbler. It's got a plastic drum barrel, and I mean, that thing has been amazing as far as cleaning up rings and stuff. It's all about the abrasive amount desired to cleaning desired. Sonic cleaner is another good option to add to your production with your use of stainless steels. Need me one of them. Need a lot of stuff, but I'm getting there. So as I go through this process of like tearing apart something I made that I can't use, so this actually might not need to be stabilized on the edges, just because as it gets bigger, it's getting really just smooth. I think I might just leave it, and I'm liking how this is coming out. That's what I'm trying to say. pain in the butt to tear this apart, and then I think it's going to turn out pretty good. Get rid of that shit. Let's get this rat tail of leather hanging off the piece I'm working with. It's not annoying at all. Tumble wash, sonic clean it, and you can have mirrors. That's what I want. And let me ask you this, right? Do you think you're before you weld rings, do you run them through your sonic cleaner and then let them dry and then weld them just to clean off any like gunk from your hands or coolant fluid that may have gotten on them? Or do you just wash your hands before you weld your rings after you clean them in a tumbler and stuff? So I need to pay attention to that. I've got some supplies in that are going to require welding, and maybe I'll grab a ultrasonic a sonic cleaner prior to sonic cleaning, then heat drying. Okay. Heat drying. Speaking of heat drying, that makes me think of a kiln. Speaking of kilns, I got a kiln for my wife once, and then it got destroyed by an asshole, and well, those rings don't go together. What in the world? So I don't know if she's going to do pottery ever again, but I was looking right behind me, right, that wall with all the sound padding on it is the laundry room. And if I took out the wall behind me and extended the laundry room, right, this space could become her pottery space. But I think she said she doesn't want to be cut off from the rest of the house. It's like, well, I don't know how you're going to avoid doing that. But there's room in there for a kiln. Or we can put the kiln in the garage. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, for cleanest, okay, sonic cleaning, heat drying, for cleanest welded rings. And you need to use them within hours as oxidation will form over the time. Yeah, so it's like, that's just part of the process. You getting ready to weld is clean them, dry them, and then light them up. Yeah, because I've got some stuff that's going to be welded. I say here pretty soon, but you know, it'll probably be a while. I've got a lot of stuff I'm working on, so we'll see. Come on. If you really want to cheat, you can fill a container with a few pounds of argon before closing the container. Yeah, let me just, go to my argon bottle that I keep on hand. Just for just such an occasion. Yeah. Actually, there's a gas company that sends out bottles of welding oxygen, oxyacetylene setups and whatnot. I get some argon from them. Come on. You have 2 bottles of argon in your shop? I believe you. That sounds like something you would use. All right. There is a... I'll just add that to the list of things that I want to have. Now, argon prevents it from oxidizing, right? So... like, that's why you need an argon shield to weld titanium. Paid about $180 for the tank with the gas. Refills were quoted at around $47 last month. Right on. That's not terrible, but it's going to be a hot minute before I spend money on an argon bottle. Not that I don't think you're wrong in that I could use one for stuff, but, just other things that I got to prioritize. So I may have been very, very wrong. I had this small little cube that I thought was that did not make a good ring size for jelly cubes, right? And as this gets bigger, just the more... like it's stable, it's shapely, it's, pretty decent size. It removes the oxygen from the weld zone, preventing oxidation needed in a number of welding processes for deal welds. That's interesting. I don't know enough about welding, obviously. I've done oxyacetylene in high school 100 years ago, and then MIG welding, stick welding, and I was bad, but I changed schools, and when I changed schools, the shop class was already full by the time I got to it, so I couldn't take it, and the auto mechanic shop was full. So what did I do when I got out of high school? Nothing. And then I joined the Army a couple years later and left my home, and that's how my journey started. All right, you can go dirt cheap, make a sandblasting cabinet, sealed and vent. I'm not putting a sandblasting cabinet in my basement, and I definitely don't have room for it outside. And hook your car exhaust to make a welding zone free of oxygen. Okay. Just out there with a hose coming out of my exhaust on my truck, going into a box that I'm welding inside of. That is that's very interesting. A very interesting technique for making an oxygen-free environment. But, I don't know. I don't really think that I'm going to be welding any titanium in the future right now. I'm at the stage where I need what everyone needs, and that's $1 million to win the lottery. But you'd be hard-pressed to win the lottery twice. You could stick weld with 9-volt and pencil lead, too. Come on. Yeah. No, I've had no need for welding outside of chainmail. So I never picked up a welder. I am interested in having that as a tool on hand. It's like having a generator. I don't always use it, but when I need it, I have one, right? I don't need a welder for anything right now, but of the tools that I would like outside of chainmail and blacksmithing, I would like a welder, like a Lincoln welder setup or something. You have started making clasps with your welder? Very cool. That's, I don't know if I would want to do that. Make clasps, that is. Come on. But if you can make a really good clasp, you can just make it the focal piece of a necklace or a bracelet, and those things sell themselves. So you see a lot of... Okay. There's not a lot of chainmail artists in the world, right? Period. Many of them are quite good and make very unique pieces. No two ever the same, really. Excuse me. And then you'll have, I don't know if they're newer people or unimaginative people who are just churning out the same thing over and over and over again, adding like no uniqueness to their pieces. And it's a thing. I'm not saying everyone does that. I'm just, some people do it, right? And I've expressed before how every chainmail artist does stuff differently and all their stuff comes out different and whatnot. But a lot of it looks, kind of the same. So it's really good practice to try and differentiate your stuff as best you can. Male maker versus male artist, yeah. So, and I'm not saying my stuff's any better than anybody else's or that it's any good at all. But, that is one thing I know. All right. Yes. Where are we at here? What time is it? Oh, holy crap. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, creatures of foreign lands, fantasy lands, and all the rest of you others. All right. We got a decent amount, right? It's slow going because it's taking this apart and putting it on here. This was a hatband that was uncomfortable on my hat, and so I'm taking it apart and making it something else, right? We're making it a jelly cube. I thought that this ring size was bad for a jelly cube, but the bigger I make it, the more it seems like it's going to be a nice, weighty, stainless jelly cube when it's done. It's getting just the shape and the way a jelly cube moves. It's got that already, so that is exciting. I thought it was just going to be crap, and then I would have to bolster up the sides with another ring on each row, and that's not happening. So, excuse me. But my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com, where you can find all your chainmail themed apparel and accessories that your heart desires. And if you want to help me get all this stuff that we're talking about, bottles of argon, Lincoln welders, all the shop tools that I need to finish out making my basement a space where I can make any chainmail item I want. Please go to mailworks.com and pick out some nice for yourself. And if you are interested in learning more about chainmail, how to make it, where to find it, go to the link tree in my bio, and you can download the Mailworks app, and it has all the resources I would have wanted when I first got started making chainmail, right? Tutorials, where to find ring manufacturers, where to find other artists, lists of other artists' websites, you know, forums, groups, stuff like that. So please go check that out if you're interested in learning more. And I don't know if I'm going to go live and do the saddlebags tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I have to go grocery shopping, so I don't know how much time I'm going to have to work on that until Wednesday. So we'll see what happens. All right. All you wonderful people have a wonderful evening. I'll talk to you all later. Bye. And for anyone watching on YouTube, Facebook, X, or YouTube, Facebook, X, or Twitch, I appreciate you hanging out, and I will talk to you all later. All right.